Dear Jill, hope you're good. I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I could really use some advice. I love sharing moments from my life with friends and family on social media, and my children are such a big part of that. I often post pictures of them, especially during family outings, holidays, or milestone events. But recently I've been questioning whether I'm overstepping boundaries. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about it. Some people say it's harmless, while others suggest it's important to respect children's privacy and get their consent before posting about them. I'm also wondering about the potential long-term effects, like how they might feel when they're older and have all these pictures of their childhood online. I want to respect my kids' privacy, but I also love capturing and sharing memories. Should I stop posting pictures of them, or is there a way to find a balance? Thanks, Donna.
Yeah, I think this is a real dilemma, a real modern day dilemma. Um, and I've heard loads of people talk about it and I've heard loads of different opinions. Um, my personal opinion is if you really, really want to share those pictures, then make sure you have chosen the option on whatever social media you're on to only share it with close friends. That's what I think is probably the best thing to do with pictures of your kids and personal kind of moments with your kids. But some other people would say, no, I don't mind. I want everyone to see it. But as you pointed out, your kids don't have the option of that. So how do they feel about it? Because it's tricky. It is tricky, and I'm not really sure what is right or what is wrong. I just know that at least there's an option on your socials to only connect with your inner circle, let's say. And that may seem like the best option right now, to just keep it a little less available, especially in the age of AI and people being able to take images and replicate them or use them for whatever. Um, that's probably how I would do it if I had a young child now. But even when my son was really small, we lived in central London, and I was like lucky enough to get invited to all these little child premieres. It'd be like Chicken Run, the premiere, or Paddington Bear. And they would always be on a Sunday morning in central London. And to be honest, it was such a nice thing for us both to do. We'd go along to the cinema, but the payoff to that, because it was free and you were getting usually little goodie bags, is that you'd be on the red carpet and you get your picture taken. So there are maybe a handful of pictures of me and my son, on a red carpet when he's really small. And I have thought about that as well. I've thought, oh, should I have done that? It wasn't his choice. Obviously, he really desperately wanted to see the movies, and we always had such fun and a great time. But those pictures are out there, and it wasn't his choice. So it is tricky. But thankfully for me, like I didn't post a huge amount of personal stuff on socials. And he's old enough now to decide what he wants to do. But yeah, it's a dilemma, isn't it? Where's your head at with this one, Emma?
Um, I'm on the receiving end. I don't have children,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know what it's like to post stuff about them. But I'm on the receiving end. So if I go on social media and it's first day at school day, I tend to not have a look because everyone's got their kids with their school pictures, and you think, should you? What? And
Yeah,
I just think, I don't really want to see that, and I'm your friend.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I know
yeah,
it's school
yeah,
photo day. I know it's, you know what
yeah.
I mean? I know all
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's not so much needed.
Mm-hmm.
You're on holiday wherever there's a nice family photo. Absolutely. Like I think it's important to, show the highlights as we've said
Mm-hmm.
on social media, but also like don't overdo it. Maybe that.
Yeah, it's a balance, isn't
Choose
it?
what's right.
Because there's WhatsApp groups that you can keep very, very tight and close with just the people who you know would want, or you'd want to share those images with. But I think you're right. I think I do know some people will put almost every picture
Yeah.
on their socials, and you think there's a huge amount of content out there that it's available for someone to have, and it does worry me because I've got no idea what the future is going to look like in that way. But I think if Donna is already wondering about it now, I think there's no harm in pulling back and just really much more careful and curated about what she puts out there. And I think that when the kids are really young, that's slightly less possibly embarrassing, if they were to look back and be embarrassed at all, by the way, because they might not be. But certainly when they start to get young teenager, into older teenager, then I think that becomes, it can become very embarrassing for them. Yeah.
Well, I remember I used to have Facebook when I was 13. You're not meant to until you're 16. But it was new. And you wanted it as a child.
Yeah.
And I remember I've still got the same Facebook account, and I went through and deleted the whole lot because I don't want pictures of me in an Angry Birds dress. I don't want stupid things going out. Me in a wig.
Can I see the picture of you in the Angry Birds dress, please?
Probably still there. Maybe kept that one.
It's so funny.
But I went through and deleted it, so they can always go, "Oh well, Mum loved us back in the day, but
yeah,
Mum."
It's a funny feeling, isn't it? When you're out and about and people say, "Oh, let's get a picture." I have no problem with that, but I have to, if I'm being really honest, I have to admit, sometimes I'm like, yeah, but you're gonna put this on whatever, and I don't want to be on there.
If you always be, if you're getting one with a friend, we always have to vet them. Be like, well, you look really nice in that, but I look horrific, so not that one. And then sometimes they do you dirty. Mm-hmm. Are you like that as well?
It's just more about, I'm out with, whoever. Why do 3,000 more people, if you count everyone's followers on every social that they've got, whatever? It just sometimes feels a bit like, well, I don't want to be photographed and put on your Facebook.
Let's just live in the moment.
So, but then quite often now people will say, "Is it all right if I put this on?" Blah blah blah, and I think that's quite nice. It's like that's polite enough to say, "Do you mind?" And then because people now, like, they never ask for autographs anymore; they just want a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you do think, "Oh wow, the pictures that are being put out there must be horrendous." So I went to a drag show years ago. And have we talked about this RuPaul's Drag Race before?
We have, yeah.
And Sharon Needles, she's always been my favourite one from years ago. And I said, I was like, "I love you. My son loves you. Can we get a picture?" She was like, "Absolutely, but I'll take it." And she took my phone and turned it around to selfie mode and took it. And I was like, that's the way to do it. You're in control of the picture. She knows her angles. She knows what looks good. And I'm not like just going, "Hey, look at this picture." And she's like, "Wow." So I was like, yeah, maybe that's the way forward. Because sometimes you just get randomers just taking like 12, 15 pictures, just as you're standing there.